I sometimes ask myself an important question. Why aren't more people attracted to a minimalist life? I mean, given all the benefits of owning just what we need, why would anyone choose to buy a whole bunch of stuff that they don't need? I don't ask the question with an air of superiority, pride, or morality. For me, it's a personal question that I continue to wrestle with. I didn't discover minimalism until my mid-30s. While living on a lower middle-class income, I had still managed to acquire rooms full of things that I didn't need. This became abundantly clear when my neighbor introduced me to minimalism and our family of four began to minimize the possessions in our home. Our first van load of stuff to Goodwill felt amazing. The second van load of clutter to the Salvation Army felt wonderful. So did the third. But while dropping off the fourth van load of things I didn't need at our local donation center, I started to ask myself some serious questions, starting with, why in the world did I have 4 van loads of things in my house that I didn't need? Why did I buy all this? I mean, really, why do we buy stuff we don't need in the first place? The more I dove into my heart and soul searching for an answer to this question, the less I enjoyed what I found. Selfishness, greed, jealousy, desire to impress other people, fear, just to name a few, became apparent to me as unhealthy motivations that compelled me to acquire and consume. Innate human desires, I realize now that each of us must work to recognize and overcome. They are more prevalent in our lives than we realize or want to admit. But we're not entirely to blame. The external world conspires against us. In one of the most well-known descriptions of modern society's fixation on consumption, Paul Mazur of Lehman Brothers, back in 1927, wrote this in the Harvard Business Review. Quote, "We must shift America from a needs to a desires culture. People must be trained to desire, to want new things even before the old has been entirely consumed. We must shape a new mentality in America. Man's desires must overshadow his needs." And thus began a new era in advertising, one that would seek to manipulate the masses not by providing goods required for life or happiness, but by manipulating their desires. Everything from cars and clothes to cigarettes and appliances became status symbols. And 100 years later, the manipulation continues. A small sample of the ads shown during any Super Bowl are a perfect representation. During our most recent Super Bowl, we were told a fashion app could make us feel rich, a software company could turn us into a rock star, a vehicle purchase would save the environment, and a can of potato chips could help connect us with others. In each and every case, we are being trained to desire more than we need because it makes them money. My grandfather was born in 1921 and passed away in December 2020 at the age of 99. He was 6 years old when business leaders began intentionally shifting their strategy. But I'm 48, born in 1974, which means I've lived my entire life under this manipulation, and likely you have as well. We have never known anything different than a world where business leaders, Wall Street tycoons, politicians, and now tech giants control the airwaves and the culture we live in. We've come to expect that this way of life is normal and how life is supposed to be lived. This is just what life is, desiring and buying more than we need, right? Like a fish who doesn't notice the water surrounding them, we don't even notice the level of corporate manipulation and its impact around us. It's literally cooked into the soup and the culture that we're all swimming in. But make no mistake, we're being deceived. We are being sold promises that retailers and manufacturers can never deliver on. Their external manipulation appeals to our internal insecurity and compels us to pursue, purchase, and accumulate more than we need. So, how do we overcome this manipulation? I wish it was an easy answer, but I found that not to be the case. Overcoming manipulation takes constant focus. But here are some important steps we can take to accomplish that. Number 1, we can recognize that there are selfish motivations around us. Not every company and not every advertisement is out for our good. Some are just there for profit. Number 2, work to see the manipulation. The emphasis in advertising has moved away from fact-based proclamations to creating associations in the mind of the viewer. Most advertisements appeal to our subconscious desires such as status, sex, prestige, happiness, appearance, self-esteem, identity, reputation, or they appeal to our fears, loneliness, security, weaknesses, uncertainty. Be aware of their strategy so you won't be fooled by it. Number 3, remember that happiness cannot be purchased. Beware of destination addiction, the belief that happiness will be realized in your next purchase. The dopamine rush from a new purchase is immediately fleeting. Happiness is a decision available to all of us, and it is not for sale on Amazon. Number 4, respect the finite nature of our lives. All of life is finite: our time, our money, our energy. Because of this, learning where to place our attention and affection is incredibly important. Number 5, let's buy things for their usefulness, not their status. Purchase items for their ability to meet your needs, not their ability to impress your neighbor. Apply this principle everywhere. Your car, your house, your clothes are all great places to start. You don't have to live like everyone else. In fact, you'll probably be happier if you don't. And number 6, remind ourselves there are greater pursuits in life. There are always greater things we can do with our money than buy stuff we don't need. We can help others, we can solve problems, we can make a difference in the world. Our money is only as valuable as what we choose to spend it on, so spend it wisely. Number 7, ground our minds. For me, this is one of the reasons meditation and devotion are so important in my life. Being intentional about the purpose of life helps overcome the manipulation of the world around us. Maybe that is one of the reasons it is so popular in both faith-based and non-faith-based worldviews. The only exit from the influence of marketers and a consumeristic society is to actually exit, to decide that enough is enough, and the relentless pursuit of possessions will never lead to an intentional life. The first step is to be intentional in overcoming it.